the latest video from the building of Elvenhome. Just giving you a quick look here, first of all, at my latest acquisition, which is an A3 from Dapol. Went onto their site, they had one of their special offers, DCC fitted, down from £160 to £90. And strangely, before I knew what had happened, I was getting an email telling me I'd bought one. Very pleased with it, it's just running in now. So that's the fleet now has an A1, an A3, a 4MT and a 3F Ginty. Had an email recently telling me that the 64XX Pania GWR livery that Parish are bringing out should be available August, September. And Nunney Castle is also on order, so we shall have quite an interesting mix of engines once we get the track load. Just to move round to where the track is, quite a lot has happened here, although you may not realise it. I mentioned in previous videos that I wanted to I needed to raise the track to be able to put point motors and what have you underneath, and those I've now built the frame that I wanted for the bulk of the point motors. There's two other smaller bits for side motors that are done as well. The 1.5 inch worth of foam has gone on, and the hot wire cutter came into use and was able to cut all the pieces to size, and I was able to do it and still lay the plan on top, which is already proving useful because today track laying actually started. It's, as you can see, at a very early stage, and that the first curve is not on there. None of this is pinned down yet because this is all new to me, so I was coming to grips with just trying to get the fish plates on to put the two tracks together. Was proved an interesting thing with my fat thumbs and these little things, but we're getting a hang of that. One of the things that I want to have a go at doing shortly, just to get it here we have a double slip, and I want to have a go at trying to wire that on a rig before I actually wire it on here. Wiring these in N gauge, I've discovered, is not the same as wiring them, or wiring turnouts for that matter, under double O gauge. I only picked that up, so I've obviously seen lots of videos telling me about various things you have to do for DCC running. But it appears to be a lot simpler in N gauge because of the way the track is actually wired underneath. And this in particular, I've not been able to see any video of anyone actually wiring one of these in N gauge. So I'm going to have a go at doing it and then showing you once and if and when I get it to work how that works. But it's been really good. Last weekend I did all the frames and cut all the wire and got all that going, and this weekend is really involved in trying to get some of this track down and hopefully trying to get a complete circuit done. Though that may prove a little problematic. There's some bridges have got to be built at some place. But already I'm beginning to see where I'm going to need to do landscaping, and that's really helpful. So this part of this clip, well, the next thing I hope to show you is once I've got something wired up. I'm trying to think how I'm going to do that, but anyway, we'll get it wired up and get it working with some point motors on it, and hopefully with some trains traversing it. So I've got a large piece of board here which I can put some straight siders on the 4 points of the slip, and we'll see if we can get this to work. So I'll be back for the next part of the video shortly. And welcome back. It's now about a week or so, I think, since the previous clip, and I think I've learned a tremendous amount. Not the least of which is that I'm going at this like a bull at a gate, rather than thinking about planning things through. I have been doing some things. I managed to get that piece of track that I think I showed you was just starting to be curved, is in a temporary position because it was never intended to be down permanently. One thing I can say is that the ability to have the plan printed out and down on the table is immensely helpful in building the curve. I am using the track setters, but they to help me bend the curve, but it is much easier when you're bending to a plan, and that I think also will make sure, because I was very careful about the spacing of the tracks and everything else, that this is going to work quite well. So that's a real plus. I have had the devil's own job in getting the point motors to work, or not, as the case may be. I'm quite sure I've wired it up properly. with the switch and everything else. Sorry, that's not really looking on the stuff that's been done. I can hear a slight buzz when I throw the switch, but it's not enough to make the point motor work. And these are supposed to be the low voltage ones, which don't need a CDU. However, I think the problem is equally that I'm trying to run it off my Prodigy Advanced Gauge Master, the base unit, and that just isn't sensible. So on order is a dedicated unit that will be used for the accessories and a CDU. And then we'll return to making sure the point motors work, because I think it's going to be vital before I can do things like wiring up the points and everything else that needs to be done there, that I've got the point motors working so that that can all go in. However, the other thing that I've realised is, having merrily gone down, and albeit that this track is pinned down sort of temporarily, the things underneath it are not stuck down or in final position at all. And in my sort of professional life, I'm not a project planner so much, but I am used to the notion of project planning. And of course it does bring home to you that what you're engaged in here is a massive project. It is a kind of mini civil engineering project. And it, like anything else, needs things to operate in a logical order. So what's going to be happening now from here is that this is all going to be cleared off. I need first to write down the order in which I'm going to do things, just to give me a better idea. I need also to stick down all the foam board, the frames, the wooden frames onto which all the points are going to be met. Some of them will probably be attached in some way. I'm not sure whether I'll need to do it for the two smaller frames. The big one will need brackets to hold it to the board because it bends slightly, so that needs to be done. I've got cork to lay under where the track will go. And I probably need now to reprint the track plan because all the paper is dog-earing. And I want to use the track plan in sections rather than trying to lay it all down as I've done here, so that I'll be able to put the track down on top of the cork, position the track where I want it, and then lift the paper out the way and put the track into final position. That's the plan. And glue it down as I go. This is going to take quite a while, so I do not think you're going to see the completed track for some months yet, because I've got to get all the points work. I've got to get my point motors working. I've got to lay the points on top of this main section, which I think is the key element, and then the rest will come round. But I will do videos updating you as I go along. I certainly do want to do a video, if I can, of wiring these points and the double slip in particular. I was very fortunate, as I mentioned earlier, in just coming across something. I think it was a briefing note from DCC Concepts, which just said in a footnote that N-gauge points and N-gauge turnouts and double slips and the like do not need the same attention as double O gauge in order to wire them for DCC because of the way they're made. I think it's going to be very much easier, I think, but we will find out. So that's all I'm doing just for now. I'll probably post something in a couple of weeks' time just to show you where I've got to. But the thing to do for this weekend is to clear most of this off, get the foam stuck down into position, sort out a couple of landscaping things that need to be done at this end. You can see where the viaduct is. Well, in front of the viaduct, the track goes across what will be a river, so there needs to be some kind of bridging there. Similarly, you can see that down in this area, where there's a dip at the moment, the track bends back round over the river to come round to the front. And that also needs some thinking about how's that going to be landscaped, how's that going to be bridged, what am I going to put there, essentially. And I haven't really thought that through. As I said, I haven't really done the basic project planning and the civil engineering stuff. So this actually has been an incredibly useful exercise in teaching me that you need to do things properly. But part of what all this video is for is to watch me as I try to learn all the stuff that I need to know in building a model railway, in the hope that it will be helpful for somebody else coming along behind. That, I think, is everything for now. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please feel free to leave any comments. And and if you haven't subscribed, also to subscribe, and you can see this will work. I am going to build this. I know what I want it to look like, and in fairness, it's coming along as I want. I'm just not doing it in the right order. So probably 2 steps forward, but possibly 1 back over the last week. But I'm hopeful over the next couple of weeks we'll get some progress, and I'll post something in a couple of weeks showing you where I've got to. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for your time in watching this, and I'll speak to you again. Bye bye.